All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the road trip, road trippers, kingdom builders, Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, everybody in the house, right? In-laws. That's right. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to all y'all. You know what I mean? Your homes, your dwelling places where you stay at, right? Your children, your loved ones, your friends, and your pets. Everybody that you love, everybody that you need. That's right. Here we are on this glorious, glorious morning. Back to do another scripture dive, right? About to read for the fam, for the Mishpachah, right? Mishpachah and friends. All right? All praises to the Most High, Abana Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? All honors to the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Praises to the Father, glory to the Son, the Mashiach, honors to the Ruach. My love and my respect to you, right? Correct. No further ado, we're back here in the book of Jasher. That's right. It's going to be chapter 38. Starting off this one. Last time we read 36 and 37. We paired those together. This one's going to be 38. And let's see. Is 38 going to be by itself? I don't know. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Wow. 38 and 39 together are long. All right. So we're in for a runner here. All right. Because we're going to do both of them. Not just going to do one. We're going to do chapter 38 and 39. So if you want to follow along right now, you got a few moments. Get your scrolls out. Correct? All right. Get your scrolls out and follow along with me. That'd be kind of good, just in case I make some mistakes. Right? There's some strange names in here. Some of them I've seen before. Some of them are relatively new. All right? No further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you may, let us begin, right? Book of Jasher, chapter 38. Let's get some of this work. Let's begin. All right. Chapter 38, and it reads, In a hurry, king of Shiloh came up to assist Elon, and he approached Jacob when Jacob drew his bow that was in his hand, and with an arrow struck Ahuri, which caused his death. And when Ahuri, king of Shiloh, was dead, the 4 remaining kings fled from their station with the rest of the captains, and they endeavored to retreat, saying, We have no more strength with the Hebrews after their having killed the 3 kings of their captains, who were more powerful than we are. And when the sons of Jacob saw that the remaining kings had removed from their station, they pursued them, and Jacob also came from the heap of Shechem, from that place where he was standing, and they went after the kings, and they approached them with their servants. And the kings and the captains with the rest of their armies, seeing that the sons of Jacob approached them, were afraid in their lives, and fled until they reached the city of Chazar. And the sons of Jacob pursued them to the gate of the city of Chazar, and they smote a great smiting among the kings and their armies, about 4,000 men. While they were smiting the armies of the kings, Jacob was occupied with his bow, confirming himself to smiting the kings, and he slew them all. Okay. So he got his 11 boys down here, right, and a couple of their manservants, and they're killing 4,000 men. And while that's happening, Jacob's just sitting back as like a sniper with a bow and arrow, just plucking off kings like from far distance. Jacob's just like sniping them. The old man at 99. Are you paying attention? Man, how cool is that? All right, so verse 6, man, we were raw. Let's go. Verse 6, and it reads, And he slew Parathon, king of Chazar, at the gate of the city of Chazar, and he afterwards smote Susai, king of Sarton, and Laban, king of Beth-Chorin, and Shabir, king of Mechnayamah, and he slew them all with arrows, and an arrow to each of them, and they died. And the sons of Jacob, seeing that all the kings were dead, and that they were broken up and retreating, continued to carry on the battle with the armies of the kings opposite the gate of Chazar. And they still smote about 400 of their men, and 3 men of the servants of Jacob fell in the battle. See, they only lost 3 people, and they killed 4,400. I'm already counting that, plus the kings fell in the battle. When Judah saw that 3 of his servants had died, he grieved him greatly. And his anger burned within him against the Amorites. And all the men that remained of the armies of the kings were greatly afraid of their lives. And they ran and broke the gate of the walls of the city of Chazar. And they all entered the city for safety. And they concealed themselves in the midst of the city of Chazar. For the city of Chazar was very large and extensive. And when all the armies had entered the city, the sons of Jacob ran after them to the city. And 4 mighty men experienced in battle went out from the city and stood against the entrance of the city with drawn swords and spears in their hands, and they placed themselves opposite the sons of Jacob, and would not suffer them to enter the city. And Naphtali ran and came between them, and with his sword smote 2 of them, and cut off their heads at one stroke. And he turned to the other 2, and behold, they had fled, and he pursued them. See, all of the boys got down, overtook them, smote them, and slew them. And the sons of Jacob came to the city and saw, and behold, there was another wall to the city. And they sought for the gate of the wall and could not find it. And Judah sprang upon the top of the wall, and Simeon and Levi followed him. And they all 3 descended from the wall into the city. And Simeon and Levi slew all the men who ran for safety into the city, and also the inhabitants of the city with their wives and little ones. They slew with the edge of the sword, and the cries of the city ascended up into heaven. And Dan and Naphtali sprang upon the wall to see what caused the noise of lamentation, for the sons of Jacob felt anxious about their brothers. And they heard the inhabitants of the city speaking with weeping and supplication, saying, "Take all that we possess in the city and go away, only do not put us to death. And when Judah, Simeon, and Levi had ceased smiting the inhabitants of the city, they ascended the wall and called to Dan and Naphtali, who were upon the wall, and to the rest of the brothers, and Simeon and Levi informed them of the entrance into the city. And all the sons of Jacob came to fetch the spoil. And the sons of Jacob took the spoil of the city of Chazar, the flocks and the herds, and the property, and they took all that could be captured, and went away that day from the city. And on the next day the sons of Jacob went to Sarton, for they heard that the men of Sarton who had remained in the city were assembling to fight with them for having slain their king. And Sarton was a very high and fortified city, and it had a deep rampart surrounding the city, so a deep moat, right? Deep moat. And the pillar of the rampart was about 50 cubits. Okay. And a big wall, and like a huge fortified wall. Was about 50 cubits, and its breadth 40 cubits, and there was no place for a man to enter the city on account of the rampart. And the sons of Jacob saw the rampart of the city, and they sought an entrance in it, but could not find it. So they had, like, imagine like a huge city, like with a deep trench and a big wall, a huge rampart wall that's going like around it, and there's no way in. All right. 21 and reads, "For the entrance to the city was at the rear, and every man that wished to come into the city came by the road, and went around the whole city, and he afterwards entered the city. And the sons of Jacob, saying that they could not find a way into the city, their anger was kindled greatly, and the inhabitants of the city, saying that the sons of Jacob were coming to them, were greatly afraid of them, for they had heard of their strength, and what they had done to Chazar. And the inhabitants of the city of Sarton could not go out toward the sons of Jacob after having assembled in the city to fight against them, lest they might thereby get into the city. But when they saw that they were coming toward them, they were greatly afraid of them, for they had heard of their strength, and what they had done to Chazar. So the inhabitants of Sarton speedily took away the bridge of the road of the city from its place before the sons of Jacob came, and they brought it into the city. And the sons of Jacob came and sought the way into the city, and could not find it. And the inhabitants of the city went up to the top of the wall, and saw, and behold, the sons of Jacob were seeking an entrance into the city. And the inhabitants of the city reproached the sons of Jacob from the top of the wall, and they cursed them. And the sons of Jacob heard the reproaches, and they were greatly incensed, and their anger burned within them. And the sons of Jacob were provoked at them, and they all rose and sprang over the rampart with the force of their strength, and through their might passed the 40 cubits breadth of the rampart. And when they had passed the rampart, they stood under the wall of the city, and they found all the gates of the city enclosed with iron doors. And the sons of Jacob came near to break open the doors of the gates of the city, and the inhabitants did not let them. From the top of the wall they were casting stones and arrows upon them. And the number of the people that were upon the wall was about 400 men. And when the sons of Jacob saw that the men of the city would not let them open the gates of the city, They sprang and ascended the top of the wall, and Judah went up first to the east part of the city, and Gad and Asher went up after him to the west corner of the city, and Simeon and Levi to the north, and Dan and Reuben to the south. And the men who were on top of the wall, the inhabitants of the city, saying that the sons of Jacob were coming up to them, they all fled from the wall, descended into the city, and concealed themselves in the midst of the city. And Issachar and Naphtali that remained under the wall approached and broke the gates of the city, and kindled a fire at the gates of the city, that the iron melted, and all the sons of Jacob came into the city, they and all their men, and they fought with the inhabitants of the city of Sarton, and smote them with the edge of the sword, and no man stood up before them. And about 200 men fled from the city, and they all went and hid themselves in a certain tower in the city. And Judah pursued them to the tower, and he broke down the tower, which fell upon the men, and they all died. And the sons of Jacob went up the road of the roof of the tower. And they saw, and behold, there was another strong and high tower at a distance in the city, and the top of it reached to heaven. And the sons of Jacob hastened and descended, and went with all their men to that tower, and found it filled with about 300 men, women and little ones. And the sons of Jacob smote a great smiting among those men in the tower, and they ran away and fled from them. And Simeon and Levi pursued them, when 12 mighty and valiant men came out to them from that place where they had concealed themselves. And those 12 men maintained a strong battle against Simeon and Levi, and Simeon and Levi could not prevail over them. And those valiant men broke the shields of Simeon and Levi, and one of them struck at Levi's head with his sword, when Levi hastily placed his hand to his head, for he was afraid of the sword. And the sword struck Levi's hand, and it wanted but little to the hand of Levi being cut off. And Levi seized the sword of the valiant man in his hand, and took it forcibly from the man. And when he struck at the head of the powerful man, and he severed his head. And 11 men approached to fight with Levi, for they saw that one of them was killed. And the sons of Jacob fought, but the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them, for those men were very powerful. And the sons of Jacob, saying that they could not prevail over them, Simeon gave a loud and tremendous shriek, and the 11 powerful men were stunned at the voice of Simeon shrieking. And Judah at the distance knew the voice of Simeon shouting. And Naphtali and Judah ran with their shields to Simeon and Levi, and found them fighting with those powerful men, unable to prevail over them, as their shields were broken. And Naphtali saw that the shields of Simeon and Levi were broken, and he took 2 shields from the servants and brought them to Simeon and Levi. And Simeon, Levi, and Judah on that day fought all 3 against the 11 mighty men until the time of sunset, but they could not prevail over them. It's a long fight. And this was told unto Jacob. All right. And this was told unto Jacob, and he was sorely grieved, and he prayed unto the Most High, and he and Naphtali his son went against these mighty men. And Jacob approached and drew his bow, and came nigh unto the mighty men, and slew 3 of their men with the bow, and the remaining 8 turned back, and behold, the war waged against them in the front and rear. And they were greatly afraid of their lives, and could not stand before the sons of Jacob, and they fled from before them. And in their flight they met Dan and Asher coming toward them, and they suddenly fell upon them and fought with them, and slew 2 of them. And Judah and his brothers pursued them, and smote the remainder of them, and slew them. And all the sons of Jacob returned and walked about the city, searching if they could find any men. And they found about 20 young men in a cave in the city, and Gad and Asher smote them all. And Dan and Naphtali lighted upon the rest of the men who had fled and escaped from the second tower, and they smote them all. And the sons of Jacob smote all the inhabitants of the city of Sarton, but the women and little ones they left in the city, and did not slay them. And all the inhabitants of the city of Sarton were powerful men. One of them would pursue 1,000, and 2 of them would not flee from 10,000 of the rest of the men. And the sons of Jacob slew all the inhabitants of the city of Sarton with the edge of the sword, that no man stood up against them. And they left the women in the city. And the sons of Jacob took all the spoil of the city, and captured what they desired. And they took flocks and herds and property from the city. And the sons of Jacob did unto Sarton as the inhabitants they had done to Chazar and its inhabitants, and they turned and went away. That's the end of chapter 38. All right. So we're about to continue. So you're looking at, man, it's almost like a movie, like a video game. I'm telling you, like, when they say 1 will make 1,000 flee and 2 will make 10,000 flee, like, that was not just figurative. That is literal. They did it, man. You had 11 brothers and a bunch of servants, right? plus their old dad who's 99 years old, right, who's shooting arrows. He ended up he killed 4 kings and 3 mighty men that day with a bow, plus a bunch of other people. Jacob, without having to even lift a sword, he's just shooting people with arrows, right? The dad. And then all his sons are down here slaying people with swords, climbing over walls, right? Going through, 14 cubits worth of barricade? You know what I mean? They pulled the drawbridge. These guys still got over top. 400 men on top of the wall throwing rocks and shooting arrows. And these 11 brothers just scale the wall, kill everybody inside the city. Right? Like, nobody can handle these people. So, like, when the Bible is talking about 1 will make 1,000 flee, 2 will make 10,000, right? They will fall at your right hand. It is not a game. When the Most High has empowered his men for war and battle, man, you see how Judah and Simeon and Levi get down? And Levi's the priest. He's the priest tribe. And here he is cutting off 2 people's heads in one swipe. You know what I mean? Catching a blade of a sword that came down to his head. Caught the sword, took the sword from the dude, and then cut the dude's head off. Or cut his feet off. You know what I'm saying? That's the priest. That's the priest brother. You know what I'm saying? So even the softest ones, man, there is no soft part of Yasharel. All right. We're going to continue with chapter 39. All right. I'm loving this chapter, man. This is some good reads. I love it. All right, family. Mishpachah, Salake. Let's continue. All right. Chapter 39. And it reads, And when the sons of Jacob went from the city of Sarton, they had gone about 200 cubits when they had met the inhabitants of Tapnach, coming toward them, for they went out to fight with them, because they had smitten the king of Tapnach and all his men. So all that remained in the city of Tapnach came out to fight with the sons of Jacob, and they thought to retake from them the booty and the spoil which they had captured from Chazar and Sarton. And the rest of the men of Tapnach fought with the sons of Jacob in that place. And the sons of Jacob smote them, and they fled before them, and they pursued them to the city of Arbelan. And they all fell before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob returned and came to Tapnach to take away the spoil of Tapnach. And when they came to Tapnach, they heard that the people of Arbelan had gone out to meet them, to save the spoil of their brethren. And the sons of Jacob left 10 of their men in Tapnach to plunder the city, and they went out toward the people of Arbelan. And the men of Arbelan went out with their wives to fight with the sons of Jacob, for their wives were experienced in battle, and they went out, about 400 men and women. And all the sons of Jacob shouted with a loud voice, and they all ran toward the inhabitants of Arbelan, and with a great and tremendous voice. And the inhabitants of Arbelan heard the noise of the shouting of the sons of Jacob, and their roaring like the noise of lions, and like the roaring of the sea and its waves. And fear and terror possessed their hearts on account of the sons of Jacob, and they were terribly afraid of them. And they retreated and fled before them into the city, and the sons of Jacob pursued them to the gate of the city, and they came upon them in the city. And the sons of Jacob fought with them in the city, and all their women were engaged in slinging against the sons of Jacob. And the combat was very severe among them the whole of that day until evening. And the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them. And the sons of Jacob had almost perished in that battle. And the sons of Jacob cried unto the Most High, and greatly gained strength toward evening. And the sons of Jacob smote all the inhabitants of Arbelan by the edge of the sword, men, women, and little ones. And also the remainder of the people who had fled from Sarton, the sons of Jacob smote them in Arbelan. And the sons of Jacob did unto Arbelan and Tapnach as they had done to Chazar and Sarton. And when the women saw that all the men were dead, they went upon the roofs of the city and smote the sons of Jacob by showering down stones like rain. And the sons of Jacob hastened and came into the city and seized all the women and smote them with the edge of the sword. And the sons of Jacob captured all the spoil and booty, flocks and herds and cattle. And the sons of Jacob did unto Mechnima, unto Mechnima, as they had done to Tapnach and Chazar and to Shiloh. And they turned from there and went away. And all the 5th day the sons of Jacob heard that the people of Gash had gathered against them to battle, because they had slain their king and their captains. For there had been 14 captains in the city of Gash, and the sons of Jacob had slain them all in the first battle. Hallelujah. And the sons of Jacob that day girt on their weapons for war, and they marched to battle against the inhabitants of Gash. And in Gash there was a strong and mighty people, of the people of the Amorites, and Gash was the strongest and best fortified city of all the cities of the Amorites, and it had 3 walls. And the sons of Jacob came to Gash, and they found the city, the gates of the city locked, and about 500 men standing at the top of the outermost wall, and the people numerous as the sand upon the seashore, were in ambush for the sons of Jacob from without the city at the rear thereof. And the sons of Jacob approached to open the gates of the city, and while they were drawing nigh, behold, those who were in ambush at the rear of the city came out from their places and surrounded the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob were enclosed between the people of Gash, and the battle was both to their front and rear. And all the men that were upon the wall were casting from wall upon them arrows and stones. And Judah, seeing that the men of Nash were getting too heavy for them, that gave a most piercing and tremendous shriek, and all the men of Nash were terrified at the voice of Judah's cry. And men fell from the wall at his powerful shriek, and all those that were from without and within the city were greatly afraid for their lives. And the sons of Jacob still came nigh to break the doors of the city, when the men of Gash threw stones and arrows upon them from the top of the wall, and made them flee from the gate. And the sons of Jacob returned against the men of Gash who were with them from without the city, and they smote them terribly, as striking against gourds, and they could not stand against the sons of Jacob, for fright and terror had seized them at the shriek of Judah. And the sons of Jacob slew all those men who were without the city, and the sons of Jacob still drew nigh to effect the entrance into the city, and to fight under the city walls. But they could not, for all the inhabitants of Gash who remained in the city had surrounded the walls of Gash in every direction, so that the sons of Jacob were unable to approach the city to fight with them. And the sons of Jacob came nigh to one corner to fight under the wall. The inhabitants of Gash threw arrows and stones upon them like showers of rain, and they fled from under the wall. And the people of Gash who were upon the wall, seeing that the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them from under the wall, reproached the sons of Jacob in these words, saying, What is the matter with you in the battle that you cannot prevail? Can you then do unto the mighty city of Gash as its inhabitants as you did to the cities of the Amorites that were not so powerful? Surely to those weak ones among us you did those things, and slew them in the entrance of the city, for they had no strength when they were terrified at the sound of your shouting. And will you now then be able to fight in this place? Surely here you will die, you will all die, and we will avenge the cause of those cities that you have laid waste. And the inhabitants of Gash greatly reproached the sons of Jacob, and reviled them with their gods, and continued to cast arrows and stones upon them from the wall. And Judah and his brothers heard the words of the inhabitants of Gash, and their anger was greatly roused, and Judah was jealous for his Elohiah in this matter. And he called out and said, O Yahweh, send help to us and our brothers. And he ran at a distance with all his might, with his drawn sword in his hand, and he sprang from the earth, and by dint of his strength mounted the wall, and his sword fell from his hand. And Judah shouted upon the wall, and all the men that were upon the wall were terrified, and some of them fell from the wall into the city and died. And those who were yet upon the wall, when they saw Judah's strength, they were greatly afraid and fled for their lives into the city for safety. And some were emboldened to fight with Judah upon the wall, and they came nigh to slay him, when they saw there was no sword in Judah's hand. And they thought of casting him from the wall to his brothers, and 20 men of the city came up to assist them. And they surrounded Judah, and they all shouted over him, and approached him with drawn swords, and they terrified Judah. And Judah cried out to his brothers from the wall. And Jacob and his sons drew the bow from under the wall, and smote 3 of the men that were upon the wall, the top of the wall. And Judah continued to cry, and he exclaimed, O Yahweh, help us! O Yahweh, deliver us! And he cried out with a loud voice upon the wall, and the cry was heard at a great distance. And after this cry he again repeated to shout, and all the men who surrounded Judah on the top of the wall were terrified, and they each threw his sword from his hand at the sound of Judah shouting, and his tremor, and fled. All right, verse 38. And one of their mighty men, whose name was Arud, approached to strike Judah upon his head with the sword. And Judah hastily put his shield to his head, and the sword hit the shield, and it was split in two. And this mighty man, after he had struck Judah, ran for his life at the fear of Judah, and his feet slipped upon the wall, and he fell among the sons of Jacob, who were below the wall. And the sons of Jacob smote him and slew him. And Judah's head pained him from the blow of the powerful man, and Judah had nearly died from it. And Judah cried out upon the wall, owing to the pain produced by the blow. When Dan heard him, and his anger burned within him, and he also rose up and went at a distance, and ran and sprang from the earth and mounted the wall. So these guys jumped like lions or cats, bro. He said he came from a distance, so he backed up and he ran with a sprint and jumped up and climbed up the wall and mounted the wall with his wrath-excited strength. And when Dan came upon the wall near unto Judah, all the men upon the wall fled, who had stood against Judah, and they went up to the second wall, and they threw stones upon Dan and Judah from the second wall, and endeavored to drive them from the wall. And the arrows and stones struck Dan and Judah, and they had nearly been killed upon the wall. And wherever Dan and Judah fled from the wall, they were attacked with arrows and stones from the second wall. And Jacob and his sons were still at the entrance of the city below the first wall, and they were not able to draw their bow against the inhabitants of the city, as they could not be seen by them, being upon the second wall. And Dan and Judah, when they could no longer bear the stones and arrows that fell upon them from the second wall, they both sprang upon the second wall near the people of the city. And when the people of the city who were upon the second wall saw Dan and Judah had come to them upon the second wall, they all cried out and descended below between the walls. And Jacob and his son heard the noise of the shouting of the people of the city, and they were still at the entrance of the city. And they were anxious about Dan and Judah, who were not seen by them, they being upon the second wall. And Naphtali went up with his wrath-excited might, and sprang upon the first wall to see what caused the noise of shouting which they had heard in the city. And Issachar and Zebulun drew nigh to break the doors of the city, and they opened the gates of the city, and came into the city. And Naphtali leaped from the first wall to the second, and came to assist his brothers. And the inhabitants of Gash, who were upon the wall, seeing that Naphtali was the third who had come up to assist his brothers, they all fled and descended into the city. And Jacob and all his sons and all their young men came into the city to them. And Judah and Dan and Naphtali descended from the wall into the city, and pursued the inhabitants of the city. And Simeon and Levi were from without the city, and knew not that the gate was opened. And they went up from there to the wall, and came down to their brothers into the city. And the inhabitants of the city had all descended into the city, and the sons of Jacob came to them in different directions, and the battle waged against them from the front and the rear. And the sons of Jacob smote them terribly, and slew about 20,000 of them, men and women. Not one of them could stand up against the sons of Jacob. And the blood flowed plentifully in the city, and it was like a brook of water. And the blood flowed like a brook to the outer part of the city, and reached the desert of Beth-Corine. And the people of Beth-Corine saw at a distance the blood flowing from the city of Gash, and about 70 men from among them ran to see the blood. And they came to the place where the blood was. And they followed the track of the blood, and came to the wall of the city of Gash. And they saw the blood issue from the city. And they heard the voice of crying from the inhabitants of Gash, for it ascended into heaven. And the blood was continuing to flow abundantly like a brook of water. And all the sons of Jacob were still smiting the inhabitants of Gash, and were engaged in slaying them until evening, about 20,000 men and women. And the people of Corine said, "Surely this is the work of the Hebrews, for they are still carrying on war in all the cities of the Amorites." And those people hastened and ran to Beth-Corine, and each took his weapon of war, and they cried out to all the inhabitants of Beth-Corine, who also girt on their weapons of war, to go and fight with the sons of Jacob. And when the sons of Jacob had done smiting the inhabitants of Gash, they walked about the city to strip all the slain, and coming in the innermost part of the city, and farther on they met 3 powerful men, very powerful men, and there was no sword in their hand. And the sons of Jacob came up to the place where they were, and the powerful men ran away. And one of them had taken Zebulun, who had Saul, was a young lad, and of short stature, Salake, and with his might dashed him to the ground. And Jacob ran to him with his sword, and Jacob smote him below his loins with the sword, and cut him in two, and the body fell upon Zebulun. And the second one approached and seized Jacob and fell him to the ground. And Jacob turned to him and shouted to him, while Simeon and Levi ran and smote him on the hips with the sword, and he felled him to the ground. And the powerful man rose up from the ground with wrath excited might, and Judah came to him before he had gained his footing, and struck him upon the head with the sword, and his head was split, and he died. Cut his head in half. Didn't cut it off, cut his head in half. And the third powerful man, seeing that his companions were killed, ran from before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob pursued him in the city. And while the powerful man was fleeing, he found one of the swords of the inhabitants of the city, and he picked it up and turned to the sons of Jacob and fought them with that sword. And the powerful man ran to Judah to strike him upon the head with the sword. And there was no shield in the hand of Judah. And while he was aiming to strike him, Naphtali hastily took the shield and put it to Judah's head. And the sword of the powerful man hit the shield of Naphtali, and Judah escaped the sword. And Simeon and Levi ran upon the powerful man with their swords and struck at him forcibly with their swords. And the two swords entered the body of the powerful man and divided it in two, lengthwise, cut him from head to toe, split him in half. And the sons of Jacob smote the three mighty men at that time together with all the inhabitants of Gash, and the day was about to decline. And the sons of Jacob walked about Gash and took all the spoil of the city, even the little ones and the women they did not suffer to live. And the sons of Jacob did unto Gash as they had done to Sarton and Shiloh. That's the end of chapter 39. We're going to close that out right there. All right. That's right, Mishpachah. Brothers and sisters. All right. We just finished that one up. That was Jasher 38 and 39. All right, so we're going to finish up with that. All praises to the Most High. All right, so go in peace. Peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to all of y'all. Your homes, your dwelling places, your children, your loved ones, and your pets, right? All that good stuff that you need in your life, Mishpachah. Right, until I talk to you again, please be safe out there. Drive safe. Do everything safely in the name of the Most High. All right. All praises to Yahweh. Talk to y'all soon. I love you. Yeah.